Welcome back. ESG has become a buzzword among investors and companies alike, but actually measuring those initiatives and the impact they have on a business is still a bit up in the air. EY and members of the biggest World Economic Forum companies are working toward a core set of metrics as a way to hold businesses accountable and make them hold themselves accountable to ESG issues. Joining us now is Carmine DeCibio, the global chairman and CEO of EY. Carmine, it's great to have you. Before we get into the metrics, last year at Davos, it was all about ESG. Everyone and their mother had a plan for this. Now we are in a very different place in corporate America. The profit picture is different. These companies have laid off millions of jobs and are trying to figure out a way to get back to work and in many cases survive. So is ESG still as much of a priority?
Sarah, it definitely is. And I will tell you, when we think of the pandemic and what we're in now, we usually talk about the 3 C's of COVID: connection, culture, and the community. And part of the community is around ESG, and it is around sustainability. Next week is Climate Week. And one of the things that's going to come out next week is we have been working at the World Economic Forum with the International Business Council, which is chaired by Brian Moynihan, the CEO of Bank of America. We and the other big four have been working on comprehensive metrics that our clients and the companies out there can disclose. And that would be obviously very helpful to investors, helpful to everyone, frankly. And it's something that we've all been working on together, the big four. There are going to be 21 core metrics and 35 supplemental metrics. This will all be voluntary, but we've gotten and are in the process of getting more and more companies from the International Business Council, which really is over 100 of the world's biggest companies, to commit to these metrics. And it's something that we're going to roll out next week. It's something that we've been working with all the CEOs, all the big four chairmen and CEOs have been working with their clients to really commit to disclosing these metrics. This will help. It's really an offshoot of what was done at the BRT about a year ago in terms of stakeholders versus shareholders. And this is another piece of that, Sarah, that I think will go a long way.
Also gives us something to report on and hold companies accountable, Carmine. But if it's voluntary to release the information, won't companies only release it if they've got a good story to tell or have shown some progress?
Well, this is where obviously we're going to look for consistency. And this is where we are going to help companies in terms of making sure that they are consistent. We want to get buy-in and get people disclosing on this. And then obviously these will be refined over the next few years. But we need to start. And then hopefully some of the regulators will jump on this as well and really require this more. This is not a requirement. This is more voluntary. But we needed to get a start. And the big difference, we've incorporated all the different frameworks that are out there. We at EY were involved in a project called EPIC a couple of years ago or 2 years ago, which really focused on human capital metrics. But we've put them all together. And really these metrics break into 4 areas: prosperity, planet, people, and governance. And we each took one of these areas and developed the metrics behind it.
Carmine, I wanted to move on, if I may, and ask you about Wirecard. And specifically, if you had a message to people that had invested in Wirecard and lost a lot of money, if they'd been reassured by seeing that your name, EY's name, was on the accounts of the company, and if you had a message to those investors.
Well, Wilfred, I put out a client letter yesterday that was publicized in some of the newspapers around the world, and we're obviously talking to all our clients, and some have invested in and had invested in Wirecard. It's obviously a very unfortunate situation. It's a massive collusive fraud that we did bring up. We did disclose it in our in our fiscal or calendar year 19 audit of Wirecard. I wish we had disclosed it earlier. I wish we had found it earlier. But we went through great lengths, including in the audit of 19, we actually asked the company to move cash around, which was the only way we could really ensure that it was there. We were given falsified documents the years before, falsified bank statements. It was a very well-orchestrated fraud. And like I said in my letter to our clients, I regret we didn't find it earlier. But we did find it, and we did raise it to the board and to the regulators once we did.